again, here to remind you about the mission of our club. The mission of our club is to provide a supportive and learning environment in which members are empowered to develop leadership and communication skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. You have a question?
I would like to, I have a question. I would like to repeat.
Sure.
The mission of the Toastmasters is to provide a supportive person in the experience and which members to power to develop their communication and leadership skills and resulting in greater self-confidence. You had misplaced some words.
Okay, apologies. Okay. Can I request two volunteers? Like, you don't have to come on stage just from there. Toastmaster Farid and Toastmaster Ritvik, you don't have to come on stage, you can be in your place only. Toastmaster Farid, you're playing the role of language evaluator. Okay. Can I have some other volunteer instead of Toastmaster Farid? Volunteer? Okay. You can be in your place, that's fine. So Toastmaster Ritvik, could you tell me the word of the day? Meaning?
It basically means having a basis to something.
Perfect. Can I know your name, please? Okay. I don't know if he knows about the Toastmaster. Okay. Do you know the idiom of the day? Yes. Can I have some other volunteer, please, who knows the idiom of the day? No one is allowed to check their phone because we have a parliamentarian here. Toastmaster Kannur, yes. Idiom of the day. Meaning?
Not decided.
Good. Without further ado, I would like to call upon the president of our club, Toastmaster Pradyum. Toastmaster Pradyum is an alumni from St. Columbus School. He is very hardworking and a very a great visionary. We've seen how in past 4-5 months he's done so much for the club as well. Toastmaster Pradyum loves meeting new people. He has love for theatres and acting. And without further ado, I would like to call him on the physical stage. Toastmaster Pradyum.
Good evening, everyone. How are we doing today? Great. Welcome to the 489th meeting of CDTM Toastmasters. Before we move on further ahead, let's take 30 seconds of silence for world peace. Thank you, everyone. Now, Josie Gregorek, an author and a world-famous national powerlifter, once said, "Hard choices, easy life. Easy choices, hard life." I want some volunteers and tell me what does this quote mean. At least, even if you do not know, what do you think this quote means? Hard choices, easy life. Easy choices, hard life. That's the quote. Toastmaster Vijay.
The quote means that if you make easy choices, like not working hard, so at the end of the day, you would be having less in comparison. And if you're working hard, making hard choices, doing your stuff and assignments, then in the end of the day, you will be having much more than the other latter one.
All right, thank you. Toastmaster Pooja.
I can give an example to explain this. So, for example, every Tuesday the commitment to being in the Toastmasters club is a hard choice. But the easiest thing is that we get to become better communicators. So life becomes easy there. And vice versa, if you don't do hard work, then eventually you struggle in life. I think this is what it means.
That's right. So, Ritik, you have something to say?
It's pretty
be the same thing, the old wine and new bottle. Basically, it's just the same. You do your daily course, you make yourself go throughout with perseverance and determination, you never lose heart. And all these things still demotivating yourself, but still you're moving forward. This distance between you getting demotivated and still pushing yourself to work. This particular thing makes you listen to other people. This is a hard choice. That's the easy life. The other people who don't take this as a hard choice, they take it as an easy choice, they have a hard choice. Very, very well elaborate explanation. Anyone else wants to add on something? Something that they think has a different meaning than what others have commented on. So, Masuraj?
So I do not think, I do not have any different meaning.
Right.
I would like to say the same thing in one of the favorite topics. By way of one of the favorite topics, which was given at a district level in Chandigarh in 2017. And in which the favorite topic is somewhat like this, that if you work hard during peace time, you won't be required to work hard during war time. So it simply means that if you are working hard today, your tomorrow will be able to.
Right. Beautiful explanation. Anyone else? So, Master
If we climb on mountain, that takes effort. So I want to say this is the law of nature. If we want to be uplifting, that takes much effort. But if we don't want that, then that don't take any effort. Automatically we can fall down.
Thank you. Anyone else? To sum it all up basically, and I agree with every single point which was raised by Toastmasters present over here today. Anytime, think of it, anytime you thought of an easy choice, be it just going home, not doing work, procrastinating or delegating it, just sitting at home, watching Netflix, just not working, maybe eating something that is not healthy for you. That was an easy choice you made. But in the end, what do we get out of it? Is it something good? Is it something that we enjoy towards the longer time? Does it provide us a longer gratification? It doesn't. But at the same time, if we decide to make those hard choices, take those painful steps, sleep early, eat healthy, wake up early, it might not feel right, it might just feel so awful in the moment, but in the long run, this is something which has helped every single one who has done it. And that is what this code, I believe, means. And I believe that applies to Toastmasters as well. Taking those roles even when you're not prepared. And just coming on stage, as Toastmaster Deepak last time said, just outright just giving out anything. Just anything on the stage, just completely messing and making a chaos on the stage is what is hard right now. But in the long run, that is what wins international speech contests and table topic contests. With that being said, I would now like to call upon our guest on stage. We have guest Kavya with us. Guest Kavya, could you please come on stage?
So, as you all know, my name is Kavya, and I am currently, I have pursued engineering from IIT University. I am currently second year, third semester of my college, and I am in computer science branch. I am a tech guy, and I really like app development, web development. I like to create stuff. I kind of observe things, the problems that people face in their daily lives, all the modern day problems, and I kind of focus my energy on how can we solve that problem. That really are my interests right now, and I'm looking forward to solve at least one of those problems that might be able to help at least one person, and that's all I'm looking forward right now. Thank you.
We have guest Ronak with us. Guest Ronak, please come up on stage and tell us about you, what do you do, and how did you come about Toastmasters? Guest Ronak. Good evening, everyone. As you all know, those who have seen me in the previous session, I am Ronak. I came to know about Toastmasters through my friend Nilesh. I am currently not doing anything. I am unemployed, But to say it in a positive way, I just completed my graduation from Toastmasters College, BA Geography Honors, and I'm preparing for competitive exams. Several competitive exams are in my list of what I want to do, and if one doesn't work, I want to do the second one. So that is how I'm preparing myself. I try to make my day better than the previous day. That is how I try to live my life. Like suppose if I have studied for 4 hours or 5 hours a day, I try to better it by increasing at least half an hour of another day's work. That is how I try to improve my day. And apart from that, I am also interested in several kind of physical activities, like I'm into swimming and karate. That's about it. Yeah, yes, Nivish, could you please come on stage, tell us who you are, what do you do, and how did you come about Toastmasters?
As you all know, my name is Nivish. I'm from Haldwani, Uttarakhand, and I have completed my graduation from Toastmasters College, Delhi University. So, talking about my interest and hobbies, my hobbies are calisthenics and dancing, which I have honed during my college times, as I was a part of dance society of my college, and was also in NCC, during which I did various camps and evolved my interest in these activities. Of now, I am a defense aspirant and I am preparing for it. And in defense, public speaking is one of the things that is required the most. And for that, to improve my confidence and public speaking, master it, I'm here to improve it so that I could get in contact with a group of people that are really interested in public speaking. Thank you.
We've been joined today by Toastmasters from Professional Speakers Toastmasters Club. So first of all, will you please come on stage, tell us about something about yourself, about your club, and how did you come to about Toastmasters?
Hello everyone, I'm Raj Mehta. I have been a Toastmaster since last 7 years, and the best thing is that this membership has been unbroken ever since. I have been a charter member of many clubs. I was 2 times period director, 1 time division director when Delhi was united. So I was the division director of all of Delhi. All the clubs were under me. I had 6 area directors with me, and I know Toastmasters and the environment and other things very well. The best thing which I like in Toastmasters is that it doesn't teach us antipathy. It teaches us love everyone, like everyone, learn from everyone. Thank you.
Last but not the least, we have Toastmasters Digant with us today, who is giving a speech. Be prepared for that. Toastmasters Digant on the stage.
So, my journey in Toastmasters started with this club, and then I never looked back. As you will be shortly knowing about my journey in Toastmasters. Whenever anyone asks me about the thing that, Digant, can you tell me which is one of the best clubs in Delhi which you want to know about? And if we have to tell for a person who really wants to learn, with sincere about learning the public speaking, I had only one answer, and I will always be having only one answer. That's Central Delhi Toastmasters. So I can say that I am back to square one after touring across the world virtually, giving so many speeches that even in if I was giving speeches and attending the contest and judging the people. So I'm back to square.
Thank you, Toastmasters. I would now like to ask the tech master present virtually. Are there any guests on the virtual stage?
There are no guests on the virtual stage.
We have guest Bhumika FM. Omika, I'm so sorry.
Omika is already a member of our club.
All right. Thank you. Without any further ado, I would now like to start. But before starting, I would just like to inform each and every member today that today we will be having the Member of the Month award. something which everyone should look out for. You would be having it just towards the end, at the last, towards my end, wow, towards the presidential address, concluding presidential address. Now, before I call Toastmaster Pooja up on the stage with her theme of the day, who would have thought two such amazing TD, but the contrast in them, the way they conducted their walls, their teaching, their guidance, finding a contrast in them and making a theme out of it is something which is so beautiful. With that, I would like to call Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Pooja, with her topic, Ram Krishna, who is a better leader? Toastmaster Pooja.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests present here today. I'll be playing the role of Toastmasters of the day. And as our president said, Ram or Krishna, who is a better leader? Well, a lot of us think that they both had a great way of leading. Some believe in the combination, some had a different opinion about the leadership skills. So today I would like to involve all the Toastmasters and guests present here and would like to know the views from them. Ram and Krishna both were amazing leaders, and I would like to call upon few, so I'll be calling auxiliary group here later, but non-participants, I would like to really participate and share your views on what do you think, who is a better leader, Krishna or Ram, or you have some different opinion on this. I would like to start with Toastmaster Raji.
So it's really a tough choice to decide between Lord Ram and Lord Krishna. I think who's better leader for me, my personal guy would be Krishna because of the fact that he has so many things to offer. I mean, of course, both of them have a lot of things to offer, but Krishna for the fact that I was totally impressed no matter what. When I was growing up, when I was still a very child, I was always fascinated with all this kind of a chakra thing. I think everybody will recollect that, when the Lord Krishna would appear on the TV, the only thing that would strike would be like his chakra. So from that perspective, I was pretty much fascinated because this was one unique thing that would attract a growing child or anybody, like because of the fact that he is my favorite. And apart from that, his love stories of Mathura, Vrindavan, and the famous story which is correlated with the Lord Krishna is of Kans Mama. We all know Kans Mama and the Krishna connect, and that's how till today, if we have to refer to any bad person, we refer to that he's a Kans guy, Kans Mama. Sorry, I cannot translate that in English, but Kans is kind of an evil person. So for me, Lord Krishna would be my favorite person. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Well, we know Ram and Krishna both are great gods and the main protagonists of Hindu epics, Ramayana and Mahabharata. And also, some of you may have noticed, some of you may have not observed that they both have a lot for us to learn in terms, either you're a corporate, either you're into a job or an entrepreneur, we always have a lot to learn from both their leadership styles. So I would like to think, like to request our Toastmasters to think on that note, how they can help us become a better leader or what we can learn from them. If you can share your views, what we can learn from them and apply in our life as an entrepreneur or whether we are into a job. Yes, Toastmaster.
What I think about Lord Ram is the professionalism that he was having. When Ravan was killed by him, he killed his enemy. But after that, as an example of professionalism, he asked his brother Lakshmana to go to Ravan and seek knowledge. This can only happen if a person, I'm not talking about him as Lord, sorry, I'm talking about him as a person.
Right.
if a person is a professional.
Who would like to volunteer next? Any guess? Toastmasters is quick.
So I will call Ram a very good politician of do not promote itself a very negative connotation to it. But sometimes in this mundane world, it's very important not to be too idealistic, at the same time to be thinking in a good world, which is also not going to be too pragmatic. So in this tussle between pragmatism and idealism, Ram finds a very beautiful combination, and he does justice to the stability of the government what he was leading. At the same time, as far as Krishna is concerned, I believe he was a better diplomat rather than obviously diplomats are also leaders in themselves. But surely Ram as an administrator and Krishna as a diplomat is something I would love to see them. Both are good leaders. One was the administrator and one was the diplomat.
So Toastmasters, what would you suggest? So like if we have to take one takeaway from their leadership for us to grow in life, to become a better leader, what would that be?
So, though I'm not going to go through the intricacies of Ramayana, because there are a lot of certain things which cannot be said at all the places, kind of may sound unparliamentary. But still, we can learn the pragmatism with which we deal with government, the way we do with people. Practicality is very important. Now, and stability of the government is kept at the highest pedestal, and even North India also had like advocated the same thing. And later on, we can take the diplomacy of Krishna. Sometimes what happens, it's really important to in this mundane world, it's important to convince someone. But sometimes being outrightly honest and truthful may have very bad repercussions. But if we overjustly bend the thing in such a way, like it's just a part of life. So it's really helpful for the stability of the moment, the stability of the earth we have.
What was being manipulative?
It really works in the mundane world. It may sound very negative to some people, but unfortunately, when there is human behavior and human nature, you cannot be always idealistic. There has to be practicality.
Wonderful. I see Toastmasters, I see Toastmasters repeat. Yes, Toastmasters repeat.
I don't have a takeaway right now.
Yeah, but whatever your thoughts are.
Everyone, I would like to request that this is a very sensitive topic. One can go easily off the line. So keeping everyone's beliefs and everything in respect, we should be not in a comparison mode, but rather than what to take away and presenting that we are God. So that should be the key, when we're speaking in it. So that is my something I want to do.
Absolutely, absolutely. We'll keep that in mind throughout the meeting. And now, without further ado, I would like to start with the meeting. Our meeting is divided into three important segments. First one being a prepared speech segment, in which we have some of our Toastmasters who have really spent a lot of time in preparing speeches. And we're going to hear their beautiful speeches. Second one is a table topic segment. As our president has already explained, in table topic, we have a table topic master. He'll be giving us impromptu topics, and whoever is interested can volunteer. The best part is even the guests can participate. So I highly request all the guests to please participate and understand how the table topic and impromptu speaking works. And the third one is the evaluation segment. That's the foundation of our Toastmasters meeting. That really helps us in becoming a better speaker, better communicator. So a few of our Toastmasters will be the evaluators who will be evaluating table topics and prepare speeches. So with this, I would like to introduce now the auxiliary role players. Auxiliary role players are the pillars of our meeting. They will help us keep our meeting in check and under control. I would like to start with the timer. So timing is very important. We all know that we will know how and what the importance of time is. With this, I would like to call upon Toastmaster Praveen, who is the timer of today's meeting.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. As I am playing the role play of a timer, so I will count time of each speech by speaker, so that speech should not be like very short time, or each speech depends on the certain time period that need to finish in certain time period. So that I will use three cards, like a green card, yellow card, and red card. Just like our traffic signals, as we all know, and we use on a road, the traffic lights like green means we can go, and yellow means we need to prepare for a stop, and red means we have to stop. So I will use three cards for each species, and these cards I will use. First one is prepared speech. The prepared speech, the time period of a green card would be like 5 minutes, and 6 minutes for yellow card, and red card 7 minutes. And the second topic is a table topic segment. Table topic segment, I will use green card for 1 minute, and yellow card for 1.5 minutes, and red card for 2 minutes. And third one is a speech evaluation speaker segment. Then green card will use 2 minutes, and yellow card will use 2.5 minutes, and red card will use 3 minutes. So best of luck for speakers. So I will count the time duration for each speaker. Thank you.
Next, I would like to call upon language evaluator Toastmaster Farid. He's a passionate and dedicated worker and an aspiring business head in the pharmaceutical sector. He's currently working as district manager in Johnson & Johnson. He's a positive and optimistic person. And when asked about the leadership style that he would follow in his life, he says that he uses both the styles according to team skills, knowledge, and experience. With this, I would like to call upon language evaluator of the day, Toastmaster Farid, to explain his role.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. I am Farid Ahmed, and today I am playing the role of language evaluator. So before that, I would like to highlight some points on today's theme. It's a wonderful theme. Thanks, PM Pooja, to bringing up this theme. Really, when I saw this theme, I just Googled and just found so many learning, so many leadership styles, because that's I never thought that this style is also very important. We can take away from these leadership styles and leadership. Thanks to Pooja. And so just I found that both are great leaders, because leadership depends upon circumstances, situation, and the team you had in the team is really important. What skills they have, experience they have, the knowledge they have. It depends on that. You can guide the team. You can adopt the leadership style. Like Rama, the Lord Lama. He is a great warrior, and the skill he is having, but the team he is having, like the Warners and Monkey team, they are not enough trained and skilled. They have, so they have just leave the team front side, and the team all the team has followed the Rama, and he's really Lord Rama he has the integrity, modest, he's calm, cool, humble, and always. So this type leadership also we can adapt accordingly, the circumstances and team, the way we have. And whereas we can learn from Lord Krishna, he is also a great leader, because he never picked up the weapon. He just behind the army, and he great coach, I would say. And he as great mentor, because he posed very well to Arjuna and all the team. That's why he won that war. Kaurva and Pandava war. So because we know that he has given the Gita card to Arjuna, and he said, come out from the emotions and just fight for the cause, for the team and for the army. So I would say both are great leaders, and we can learn from both leadership, and we can adapt in our professional personal life. As a parent also, we can adapt these leadership skills both. So I would not choose single one of them because both are great leaders and it's really unfair to choose one of them. So we can adapt both of them. So thanks about the theme and just I would like to highlight my role today. I am language evaluator. So language is very important in our life word of language because it shows our etiquette, behavior. It's really important what words we are using, professional, personal life, because it always shows what your ethics and etiquettes and your behavior, your manners you have. So it shows. It's really important to use the word of language in whether you are doing interviews, personal, professional life. So today's just the word of the day is antipathy. Already I have put on the speaker. So strong feeling of not liking somebody is something dislike. He has a great he has antipathy about the English or math. This type of sentence we can create. So I request all the Toastmasters and guests use this word during his speech and in conversation. And whereas idiom of the day, up in the air, not decided and not certain. So my teacher has not decided this exam. This is up in the air. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Farid. Yes, Lord Krishna has completely different leadership style than Lord Ram, and you very kindly said it's very different and difficult to compare both of them and actually have any one ideal way. With this, I would like to call upon the next auxiliary user, Toastmaster Navya. She will be playing the role of our counter. Can I please call Toastmaster Navya on the physical stage? Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Okay, so today I'll be playing the role of R counter, and as a R counter, I'll be noting down all the R's, short pauses, long pauses that speakers generally tend to do during their speeches. So I would request everyone to please be conscious about your filler words during the meeting, during your speeches, and I'll present my report in the evaluation segment. Back to TM. Now I would like to call upon Toastmaster Sanil. He's a parliamentarian for today's meeting. Toastmaster Sanil is an engineer working in Engineering India Limited and presently associated with Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, Nirman Bhavan, sorry. I would like to call upon Toastmaster Sanil on the physical stage.
This is my first first session and doing the first time. Okay. Regarding the topic, who is the better leader, Krishna and Rama, I have a different outlook. I like both the character Rama, Krishna. However, in case of leadership, the leader who is egalitarian means equality. Equality is the main thing. So the leader who have done equality means treating everyone as equal. So unfortunately, means even though I brought up in this with Rama and Krishna in my family and religiously, I found this is a hierarchical system for Rama and Krishna both. So I prefer a modern constitutional value of right to equality, and it is a different sort of leadership. Maybe I don't know. This is the thing which I prefer. That is my outlook. And regarding the parliamentarian, okay. So these are the set of rules, just like for example, when you are playing football, yeah, watch the match now and lost. Argentina lost to Saudi Arabia. Anyway, there are some referee and some rules, some guidelines. So I consider, that there are a set of rules. So that is, I consider my role. Anyway, everyone should keep the audio muted at all times until there is a need to speak. Okay, the phone should be kept silent throughout the meeting. The video should be turned on at all times during the meeting. Members should enter exit during applause. Members shouldn't indulge in any form of eating while on screen. No negative reference to caste, race, or class should be made. Sex, politics, and religion. These topics are not taboo. However, the speakers need to be sensitive if they choose to speak about them. Sorry. Hope I didn't hurt anybody's emotion. Well, I'll be evaluating my final report in the evaluation segment.
Now I would like to call upon the listener of today's meeting, Toastmaster Hriday. When asked, Toastmaster Hriday said that he doesn't believe in a comparison of the leaders as they have their own path of decision and both of them have their own ability to lead. Also, Toastmaster Hriday believes in leadership. He believes in teamwork. He loves watching series and movies like Cobra Kai and Karate Kid. With this, I would like to call upon the listener of today's meeting, Toastmaster Hriday.
So the good leaders are the ones who listen to their subordinates or co-workers. So if they miss any of their suggestion or opinion, their co-worker subordinate may not work with them. They may have a collision. That's why I want you all guys to be a leader and listen to the speeches very well, so that in the end, when I ask questions, you may be able to answer. I encourage you all to listen to the speeches carefully. Thank you, and back to the team.
Now we are going to start with the first segment of today's meeting, which is going to be the prepared speech segment. And so before calling upon our first speaker, I would like to call upon the evaluator of the first speaker, Toastmaster Raghav, on the virtual stage to explain the speech objectives of Toastmaster Bhavanand.
Am I audible?
Yes, Toastmaster Raghav.
Thank you so much. So good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. So it feels good to be back after 2 weeks. So today Toastmaster Bhavanand is going to give level 1 project for speech with the pathway title Presentation Mastery. The title of his speech is Mobile Phone, Boon or Bane. The purpose of this speech is for the member to present a speech and receive feedback and practicing applying feedback from the evaluator. Timer, please note, the speech timing is from 5 to 7 minutes with a buffer time of 30 seconds on the upper side and lower side. I wish Toastmaster Bhavanand all the very best, and I will present my evaluation in the evaluation segment. That's all from my side. Back to Toastmaster Pooja.
With this, I would like to call upon Toastmaster Bhavanand Jha with his speech title, the level 1 project for speech, the speech title. Mobile phone, boon or? Bane. Okay. With this, I would like to call upon Toastmaster Bhavanand Jha, the physical speech.
Thank you, TM Pooja and TM Raghav. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. Such devices who changed way of life, and there is a great revolution in this society, that is mobile phone. So I want to ask you, what do you think? Is it boon or bane? Is it blessing or curse? Yes, everyone.
Yes. Depends on the situation, like if you're in a medical emergency, you just reach out to the table and call somebody, very less than a 30 seconds or less than a 5 seconds. So I will say with the technological advancement,
we have this mobile as a boon for us. And also all the information that is around us, like, you know, you can have access over, you know, in such a, in a click of a second, you can have all the information. Any information that you want to know, you can go to catch a flight, you can take your speaker. So I think in today's world, I think mobile is the boon. But if you use it too much, it can be sometimes irritating for someone, you know, if you're married with your wife, you are always with your phone. But it's good, your boss will appreciate if you're always on the phone because of the fact that you're always replying to your boss. So depending upon the situation, for me, my personal experiences, I would say, on a touch of a phone, you can reach out to your family members wherever they are in the world today. Because of also the WhatsApp communication you have. So I would say it is a boom in today's world.
Thank you, Toastmaster. So I think in this world, everything found in duality of nature, like happiness, sorrow, day, night, good thing, bad thing. So I think it is both boon and bane. So let us understand how it is boon. So first one is connection. You can connect to anyone, with your family member, with your friend in a second, right? And also you can bridge all memories within a second. So that is your connection. Second point is confidence. Confidence. So it gives you some certain amount of confidence. For example, older parents can contact with their children, and people who are driving. So for example, if their vehicle get punctured or meet with accident, then people can call for help within a second. So that is confidence. Third point is comprehension. People can learn many things by the help of mobile phone. They can gather information using YouTube videos, World Wide Web, Wikipedia. So there are many options. And last but not least, that is convenience. So, for example, you can book your ticket within a second. You can order anything. Okay, so these are the advantages. So now let us understand how it is banned. So I would say first one is distraction. How it is distraction? So if we observe how many times we watch mobile phone, so that may be surprising for many of us. And also you can notice when people is driving and they are crossing road, then they watch mobile phone. So that is the biggest trap of mobile phones. Second one is I would say demolition. So people also break privacy of people using WhatsApp, Facebook. Third one, that is disruption. When people use mobile phone for a long time, so they use mobile phone in a certain position, like this, like this, like this. So they can injure neck, they can injure knee, they can injure ear, they can injure eye. So also I would say that is a disruption. And last but not least, that is display. Display, that is also biggest trap. There are thousands of advertisements that come on mobile phone when you do YouTube or anything, many advertisements come. So might get stuck in that thing. I should purchase, I should not purchase, what I should do. So I would say that is also the biggest trap. So what does it mean? We shouldn't use mobile phone? That's definitely no. But I would say we should ensure mobile phone is our servant or our master. So you should have control that where you have to apply antipathy or not. And I would also say you should have boundaries for time. So you should have up in the air for timing that I have to use mobile this time. I have not to use mobile this time. That's all. Thank you.
Very good topic chosen, Toastmaster Bhavan. I think you reminded all of us how we can be more focused and more careful while using mobile phones. With this, I would like to give you all a 30-second time with your feedback to our speaker. And meanwhile, I would like to call upon the evaluator of Toastmaster this week, Toastmaster Gurpreet, on the physical stage.
Very good evening to you all. Good evening. So today our speaker, Toastmaster this week, is delivering his level 3 speech from level 3 project 2 speech from the path-based presentation mastery. And the project title of his project title is Make Connection Through Networking. And the specific purpose statements are: the purpose of this project is for the member to develop and practice a personal strategy for building connection through networking. The purpose of the speech for the member is to share some aspects of his or her experience networking. Timer, please note, the time is 5 to 7 minutes. All the very best.
Toastmaster Rizvi says that his target is always to do something above mediocre for his successors to follow, and that we have always seen in a Toastmasters club as well. He says that a perfectionist Ram with the flamboyance of Krishna is what is his leadership style preference. With this, I would like to call upon Toastmaster Rizvi with his speech title,
Mascara and the Wood.
Mascara and the Wood. Toastmaster Rizvi on the physical stage.
Back in the last Sunday, I went to Bitoli. It's a metro station in Delhi. Now there was a resort there. The purpose of the meet was pretty simple. The Guji Foundation India was trying to meet at one place for a sharing of energies. What? Sharing of energies? What does that mean? Basically, in the spiritual realm, the ones who are spirituality enthusiasts, they will clearly understand when we talk to someone or we are in a group, we share certain energies. We need some tickets. Simple equation. Give it. I went to that particular place because our group was meeting and our minor group, that is in Devnagar, we went to that particular society. The first thing, what was my objective to move into a larger group? That is the objective of my network. So please repeat what is most important at the beginning. Objective of the networking. Please do repeat. Exactly. My objective was to dive into a deeper spiritual level by taking in energies from them and releasing my energies and expanding my spiritual circle. Objective made clear. Second part, I went into the organization. It was pretty formed with all that pomp and color, with all that robes, everyone wearing, we sat down together, we did movement meditation. And after all the meditation was done, after we had all the meditative concentration, transcendental knowledge flowing in our minds, we had the time for a break in the lunch. And that particular time, I got this opportunity to meet with someone who was the founder of an NGO which was dealing with making things apply what is taught in school. You are taught telescope helps us in seeing the stars. But how many of your school teachers have actually made you do that? So these guys do that job. And I love people who apply theories rather than just theorize things. We had a conversation. Again, when someone so intellectual who applies theories talks to you, she releases certain energies. You also release certain energies. The first part to networking, elevator pitch. Please do repeat. Elevator pitch. It's basically what are the relevant points of introduction you want to make to the one with whom you are networking. Even you can take it in that aspect also. Networking is also kind of meditation in the spiritual realm. It's a different realm and it's a different realm. It's a materialistic realm, it's a spiritual realm. So in the materialistic realm, while I was having a conversation with her, it was basically on how do my feelings and my aspirations of becoming a bureaucrat in future and maybe or the other way around have an NGO of my own will be able to help the oppressed sections, the sections which do not get all these things. She was also having a conversation with me. So here we are having an objective. I am having a skill also. What is that skill? First, concentration. Focus on my objectives and the knowledge of how to bridge these gaps. Therefore, this is the skill that you portray. Second point, skills you portray. Please repeat. Third, what you want to learn from the person you are having a networking with. That is the skills you want to learn. Third point, skills you want to learn. Please repeat. Exactly. I wanted to learn the art of how to deal with children at the same time, bridging those gaps that I am always against. Therefore, my objectives have not been achieved, but they are on the path of implementation. Now the big thing that comes is how to maintain that network intact. First, having social contact. Please do repeat. Having social contact. Exactly. After I went back home, my first thing was to send her, it was a great day, ma'am. It was really nice to have a conversation with you. Please do keep some connections in case you need some help in the future from any of the students you want. Therefore, I'm having a contact. Second, taking a consistent effort towards social media handles. Taking a consistent effort towards social media handles. Please do repeat. It's pretty simple. Commenting on their relevant social media handles. Ma'am, great efforts that you have put in the NGO. Something like that. Therefore, while you are having that thread flowing in of networking, that relationship is also being built. Therefore, this networking objectives, enlarging my spiritual circle, will also be fulfilled in future. A part of it is already fulfilled, given the fact I have been invited in Hodgepodge in their main circles. Therefore, at this particular moment, what I did, review my success. Please do repeat. Now, what is that basically? It's pretty simple. What objective you had at the beginning of networking, Have you achieved that? If not, unfortunately, your success plan is failure. Therefore, you go into reviewing. What was the problem in your networking? Were you not having a smile while you were having a conversation with her? Or maybe that handshake was missing eye contact. All those intricacies which you can. Because then only that phrase, failures are the pillars of success, will be applicable in this. And then your networking, yes, you heard, you introvert, your networking will become successful. Thank you so much.
Wonderful speech, Toastmaster Ritwik. Can I please request all of you all to share your feedback with him? Now we have the last speaker for the day, Toastmaster Digant. Toastmaster Digant has completed 14 parts. Yes, you heard it right, 14 parts. I actually had to repeat. I said 14. I thought I heard it wrong when you said 14 parts. I don't know when I read there. He's mentored more than 50 people. EC role trainer in District 46, New York. He's an ex-contractor with Indian Army. He's a financial analyst working in 3 time zones. So let's welcome super talented Toastmaster Digant. But before we call him on stage, I would like to call the evaluator of Toastmaster Digant, Toastmaster Ankit Sinha. I didn't get the opportunity to hear from you about the leadership style. So what would you like? What do you think about the leadership style of Lord Ram and Lord Krishna?
The leadership style is quite good. Especially I relate with more with Lord Rama. Reason being, he has set examples by doing that. Rather, if we are talking about our life, that means people whom I can relate is MSD, Mahendra Dhoni. And what I love about him, simple one-line quote, that process needs to be right. In all our life, we can apply this. If the process is right, you will achieve something.
Wonderful.
You have heard it that the person who has completed 14 parts, I haven't completed one. So today, Toastmaster Digant is going to take us to the world of stories. He's going to present one because project objective is like that. Part, project name is Connect with Storytelling. Part is Motivation Strategies. Objective, specific objective is either present a story within a speech or present a story that itself a speech. So allotted time is 5 to 7 minutes. All the best to storyteller for the day, and speech title is A Fashion to be Avoided. Stage back to our team.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Ankit. So I'm super excited to hear from Toastmaster Digant. With this, Toastmaster Digant, a fashion to be avoided. A fashion to be avoided, Toastmaster Digant.
Good evening, my friends. So, all the professionals, all the working professionals in the house, please raise your hand. So, most of the professionals would connect with me that we all like fashionable things also. When I was working in Mumbai, my friend told me clearly about what the first class coach of a Mumbai suburb means. He told, Digant, if you are in a real bogie where you have lot of perfumes, it's the first class of Mumbai suburb. And if you are in a bogie where there is stench of sweat, that's the second class. So we all love fashionable things, most of it. But there is one thing, one passion, which I am going to share with you all, which we should avoid, I believe. Let me take you all back to the year 2013. I was working in the audit team at a reputed CA firm at Nariman Point.
I was called by my boss, Nikhil, one day. Yes, Nikhil, tell me. Because we have to go to Bangalore for a site audit. And it is really important thing. I will brief you about all the audit plans. And also, because remember, pack your bags and bring them to the office itself. From here, we will straight away move towards airport for our flight. Yes, because okay, it's done. I will be there. Nikhil briefed me about the audit plan clearly, about all the debits that we have to observe about each and everything. And we all were clear about our task. When we were in the flight, I was literally surprised when I looked at Nikhil. We were doing the audit of an ATM seller, a small company. But Nikhil was so much tense, as if he is doing the audit single-handedly of all the blue chip companies, all the listed companies, and all the Fortune 500 companies, and is about to just break down. And I realized, why is it? We all were very clear about the plan. Why is it that this person with so much clarity is so much stressed that I am about to just call for medical help? And I am just sitting coolly and looking at the favorite pastime, the arrows. Now let me take you back, take you to the current time. Few days back, I was working in the office and I was having a simple task of preparing the Excel sheet. But the task in front of me was so much crucial for me that if someone would ask me how it is going to be there, I would say, oh man, I am so much stressed out of all this work. Just I'm about to break down. I can't see the end of the tunnel. And what happened? The stress got me into so much agony that my cervical pain aggravated, and I ended up on the bed rest for one entire day. My efficiency for that day was simply zero. As I was lying idle on the bed, as we all do during the bed rest, I had a time. I took a time to go for some meditation over there while being on the bed. And there I had a moment of epiphany. I walked back to the time when I was in Mumbai and I realized one thing. That during that time, Nikhil was clear about his work, but he was creating a big hype, as if creating a big hype or having stress is fashionable. We are so much stressed. I can't take any calls. I don't have any time for even my dog or even my kid. It's fashionable. For most of the people, it's fashionable. And I realized the same thing that I'm doing. I am just saying this is fashion. Okay,
passion to say I am stressed, so that I can just say I am a person who is in one of the best jobs, etc., etc. But is it so? There I took up the moment and thought that because let's cut through this hype of passion. Let's put the facts in front of us and let's see whether all the things that I was doing, was it really stressful? And there I started discovering. As I switched my perception from it being most stress being the most fashionable thing, to actually putting the facts on the ground and thinking whether it is actually stressful as I am thinking or not. So friends, as we are coming to the end of my speech, I urge you all that we are also organizing a workshop where we will be discussing about these stressful ways and how we can handle them. After my speech, we can talk about this if you are interested to know more about it. Back to you.
A passion to be voiced, really meaningful and lovely speech, Toastmaster Digan. Now, can I please request the Toastmaster to raise the value for the best speaker? And I also request all the Toastmasters to please share your feedback with the speakers. With this, we will move on with our second segment, which is the table topic segment.
Please put your balance in the back.
Meanwhile, I would just like to introduce the table topic master for today's meeting, Toastmaster Kanav. Toastmaster Kanav says that he is used to getting blank in table topics, but is now here to make you blank. So be aware, it's going to be a tough time for all of us. With this, I would like to call upon Toastmaster Kanav on the physical stage.
So, Ram and Krishna. So, the basic thing is the time has changed. In Ram's time, the villain was, or he still is, respected a lot. He has a temple of his own somewhere. Krishna's Kans is a little bit of what we say, an enemy. So that's why the style changed because of time changing. Now, at present, we are our own enemy. Most of the guests will not raise their hand for the table topic. Okay, so I'll be playing the role of table topic masters. So anyone who raised their hand, they have to give a speech first.
There is a guest. We have found that probably can start with.
Would you like to come? Anyone?
I'm not aware about the topic.
So your topic is what makes you happy?
What makes me happy?
Yes, we have to speak about for a minute.
Basically, I was not expecting straight away to come here and speak, but okay, what makes me happy?
What are the simple things that make you happy?
Actually, it's right. I'll use the question for getting tough to gather my thoughts.
Maybe eating something?
Maybe not eating something, but so basically, I'm a person who has a very aggressive outlook towards his work. When I get what he says, the day to day, when I'm able to complete my day to day checklist, that makes me happy. So yes, when I do well in my work, that makes me happy. If I can happy.
Gain of your crush.
Huh?
Favorite pastime whenever you're free.
Okay, so my favorite. Okay, so mostly my favorite type. If I care about my favorite pastime, I relate to more or less people I mean, when I can relate to the craftness and crudeness. If you see, when I watch what makes me happy. Okay, so that's not a fixed concept. When I see Shark Tank, I feel like I want to make a startup. I want to go make a unicorn, and one day become a shark. And yes, don't have anything else to say. I think.
And back to you.
So, who would like to go? So your topic would be, what does Toastmaster mean to you?
For me, Toastmasters is everything. I like nature, I like people who think positive, and I like my family. And all these things are available in Toastmasters. We find many speeches around us, we find many speakers around us, and we find many positive thinkers around us. We also find many possibility doers around us, and we learn many things from Toastmasters. So nature is something which tells you how to think positive. Toastmasters also are someone who tell me how to think positive. So I think nature and Toastmasters are not two different things, but one. So I like nature as well as Toastmasters. Since the day I have joined Toastmasters, I have never thought in a negative way. You believe it or not, there have been many instances in my life when the circumstances were not as per my requirement or my choice. But in spite of that, I could go through it and won over it just because I had started thinking in positive way the day I joined Toastmasters, which was in August 2011. So Toastmasters and nature are the things which I like, and this is the main thing or main reason that's why I'm in Toastmasters.
So your topic is, what advice would you give to a child?
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests.
Good evening.
So, a child who is just born in this world knows nothing about what is going to happen next to him or her. He or she has no awareness, nothing. So, one advice that I would like to give to a child would be about child sexual abuse. Because this is a thing that a child doesn't know and is not aware about, and people don't talk about it very naturally, which parents should, which teachers should, because it's very important to talk about it. Because when it happens to a child, that child goes into a trauma, and it takes many years for that child to get out of it. The torture, the days of that trauma doesn't go out of it. And then even the therapist with that child, even the psychiatrist with that child can't undo what has already happened to the child. So it's really important to spread awareness, and especially to the people who think about it, because they don't think what they have done to the child. The child is unaware about it totally, and the child goes into that deep slumbers and that deep depression, which the people in this world should understand before doing it to that child. So I would make that child aware what is a bad touch, what is a good touch, how to be aware from such kind of people, what are the signs that they can get. If somebody is offering you something in a different way, you should just step away. So if in future I ever get a chance, I want to open an NGO and educate about sexual abuse to children.
Sorry for the interruption. It was just 8:50 seconds. I had one of my professors who was the founder of a feminist group in our college, and I was a member of it. And she had once had a session at Oxford University where she was having a communication with all the ladies out there, and like awakening them about their rights and everything. So she makes it pretty personal and says, after the session, kindly see my personal group to the ones who have faced sexual abuse to all the ladies. He tells me, after the class, after the session, about 75% of the women visited her in person. So that this clearly shows a very huge issue. And thanks for highlighting.
Do we have someone else?
Can ask them. They volunteer. Want to volunteer to.
Does someone want to volunteer on the virtual stage?
Toastmaster Umika wants to volunteer.
Okay. Okay, so Toastmaster Yumika.
Toastmaster Umika, we request you to please turn on your camera.
Yeah, just a second. I don't know, there's some glitch coming. I'm not able to turn on my camera, but if I can participate like this, is that okay?
Sure. That's okay.
So your topic is, what are you most grateful for? So, Toastmaster Yumika, what are you most grateful for?
A very good evening to all my dear Toastmasters and dear guests, and as well as the virtual and the physical audiences. Well, a thing that I'm most grateful for. Let me think about it. Well, honestly, I don't have to think, because I think we all kind of tend to run towards the luxuries or the more materialistic things like in life. I don't want to offend anyone, but generally speaking, we don't look at things that are the very basics to be grateful enough towards them. I remember I was reading this book recently, and I realized that yes, maybe for me, going out and having a good time, maybe at Toastmasters or at a club or at any social gathering, must be yay a fun thing. But most people do not have the basic amenities in life. So yeah, having a job, having clean clothes, and these things are very, very underrated and looked down upon. That they're overlooked actually. That oh, these are basics. Every who is someone who might not have these things, but no. The fact that I today want to acknowledge is that we all are very lucky, and that yes, we have these basic amenities in our lives, because the one that doesn't only knows the true value of these. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So your topic is, what's your most ingenious idea?
a very complicated topic because I generally don't have any ideas in my head. I just do things without creating any ideas. So the most ingenious idea that I had, that I can think of right now is taking up the subject of geography after my board exams, after 12th exams, and coming to this city of Delhi, the great place, which I love more than my own hometown, that is Kolkata. Well, I had the option of studying in my own city. I got admission in a very prestigious college back at my city. But still, I decided to come here because the toppers of my school were also coming here. So I thought that why not go to Delhi and be with them, be with the toppers, enjoy the topper feeling. Because all the students in Delhi universities are, I guess, the toppers in their school. So that is too much of, there's too much of competition, and I love competition. That is, when you are competing with other people, there is a tendency to improve yourself, right? So, improving yourself every day gives you the motivation to achieve what you actually aim to achieve. So that is one thing. And I would say that this idea, that the idea of coming to this great city has given me immense opportunities and has given me the greatest of friends that I have till now. And I'm having goosebumps when I talk about my friends because they are a very important part of my life. And without them, I don't think I would be standing here. That's about it. Thank you. Thank you so much. And, I would like to add one thing. I would like to apologize actually for my, it's apart from this speech. I would like to apologize for my lousy introduction today. I thought that it was not very up to the mark, so I apologize for that. But I also mentioned in my introduction that I try to do things better than my previous time. So I'll keep that in mind and try to do this.
We don't want another introduction from you. You just become a member. So
you have another one, so maybe you can invite Deepak.
You can have one last.
Yes, Deepak.
So your topic is, what are you most passionate about? All right. Thank you so much for giving the opportunity, first of all. There is one thing common between all of us, I believe. We all are passionate about something in our life, isn't it? Yes? Yeah. So I'm also passionate about to learn new things in my life because I feel that there is something, that we need to look at in our life to just to achieve some, or short-term goals or the long-term goals also, right? So I set some goals for myself also in my life because I had a very bad time where I was not able to present myself somewhere, and it was very difficult to, work on the few things. So I just found it out, how to scale up, how to find my new version of myself, where I can be able to build up confidence and I can be able to justify what I am in my life. So that is what I have been keep figuring out from the last COVID-19, and then I'm trying my best to just improve the way, to find out the way where I can be able to improve myself. I will be able to justify my professional life wherever I have been working as of now, and my personal life also, of course, because it will help us to, just boost the confidence. And because of that, I had, just passionate about to improve my learning skills, listening skills, speaking skills, of course, and the way of articulation, so that people will be able to understand and will be able to just to give kind of a respect that, the person, whatever they would like to tell in their life or whatever they would like to convey the message in front of people, in front of their teams, in front of public, right? So it will be, that in a way that they will be able to understand it, because I believe it's a two-way, right? We are saying something that people should be able to understand also. So that is the reason I think I thought I'm passionate about to improve my speaking skills. It will definitely, I think, help us to, reach out the goals, whatever we set out in our life. That's it.
So with this, we are come to an end to my would like to bring back.
third segment, which is the evaluation segment. Evaluation, as I said earlier, is a very, very important part of our meeting. To become better leaders, to become better Toastmasters, we continuously need evaluation to perform better, be a better speaker. So with this, I would like to call upon Madam General Evaluator on the virtual stage, Toastmaster Rashmi.
A very good evening, dear Toastmasters and guests over there. Very good evening to all of you. Thank you very much. Well, I would first of all like to thank the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Pooja, for bringing in such an innovative theme today. More than being innovative, it is introspective. And I believe all of you would empathize with me. Do you?
Yes.
Yes or no? Please make me feel involved in the meeting, because although I am not with you in the physical room, but that is the way only how we can communicate. So dear friends, when she put me this question, yes, I had to introspect a lot, because every day, whenever I am in the classroom, I have to play the role of Lord Krishna, as well as I have to adopt the leadership role of Lord Krishna as well as Lord Rama, because children nowadays have changed altogether, and so many times you have to guide them, motivate them, tell them to do the things, but when they do not want to do, then you have to be the part of endeavor yourself also. So with this, I would like to tell you that here in Toastmasters, we are always here to motivate the speakers and the role players by giving the constructive feedback. And in this general evaluation section, so without wasting our time, I would begin by calling upon the stage the evaluators of the speech. And to begin with, I would invite Toastmaster Raghav Luna to please give an evaluation of the speech of TM Bhavanan. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rashmi. So first of all, I would like to congratulate the speaker for completing the level 1 project 4 speech. Starting with the commendations. The speaker chose a title which is needed to be discussed in the society. He was clear from his mind what he had to give to his audience. There was no sign of panic on his face and his body language, and was quite comfortable on the stage. Another thing I liked is that he questioned the audience in the beginning. It is an effective communication tool during a speech, which provides a way of controlling the speech and the thoughts of the audience. Great job done by the speaker. And whatever we do in life, there's always a scope of improvement. So there are few recommendations for the speaker which he can use to take his game of speech to the next level. First thing I would like to say is I was really glued to his speech. And after some time, at the end, he said, "Thank you, everyone." I felt like the ending was quite abrupt. Maybe maybe he could have taken some more time on the stage. And maybe he could have said at the end, like, "I would like to conclude by saying," or "at the end, I would say that." Something like that could have made the ending sound a little better. Other thing is the use of the stage. He was moving a little in his speech, but it could have been a little better. Although the speech was on a good flow, but there was an element of voice modulation, which I felt it was a little missing. At some parts, some voice modulation could have made the speech more appealing. These were a little few things I would say that the speaker can apply in his future speeches. I would not say that he needs some recommendations. He's a lot way better speaker than me. I also have some flaws that I have to overcome, and collectively we will definitely conquer all the flaws. Otherwise, the speech was awesome. Use of hand gestures was amazing, and speech was well structured. At the end, I would like to wish the speaker all the very best for his future speeches That's all from my side. Back to General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Raghav. And now I would like to invite Toastmaster Gurpreet on the stage to evaluate Toastmaster Ritwik's speech.
While you may miss having an eye contact while having the handshake with the most important person, you cannot miss seeing eye to eye when Ritvik is delivering a speech in the same room. A very good evening to all. Such is the impact that the speaker creates. He creates a wave of his own and lets everyone follow it. The speech was an epitome of a well-organized speech, and that checks one of the main objectives of the speech. Well done. What the speaker does brilliantly is giving us great step-by-step key takeaways, isn't it? Yes. In the similar fashion, he asks you, yes, is what I said, have you received it well? Well done. Again, the clarity, the impact, the well-organization, and networking about the story. Check all the purposes that the speaker was required to deliver in his speech. It's difficult to have few recommendations, but here are a few. The first thing, emotion. What makes a personal story tell even more and become inspiring and motivation are emotions. And how they could have been incorporated? A conversation between him and the founder of the NGO, and having the gestures and vocal variety that depicts the success or non-success of the conversation. How important that conversation was, and how the feedback that he gave himself led him to win over the conversation again in the future. Second, I felt that the speaker could have a more purposeful moment for his stage. Like I would say this, the speaker could have used the Taj Mahal approach of speaking, like speaking the main objective from here, walking towards this tone, and then delivering an objective, walking towards this tone, and similarly to the other two. Third, a very small one, I found a little less relevance to the topic with this speech, was unable to connect it with the speech. Overall, to summarize, a well-organized speech, great key takeaways, step-by-step process, clarity, audience awareness, gesture. I'm taking away a lot of key takeaways of how to network, and definitely you cannot never miss an eye-to-eye contact when this is on. Back to you. General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Gurpreet, for such a detailed evaluation. And after that, I would like to invite Toastmaster Ankit Sinha on the stage to evaluate Toastmaster Digant's.
Good evening, my dear Toastmasters. A special good evening to the speaker for the day, Toastmaster Digant. I'm still feeling stressed. After listening to today's speech, whether I am heading in the right direction, whether I am following his approach, that was an eye-opener for me. When you have this kind of approach, this kind of feeling after listening to a particular speech, that means there was something there in that speech. What I found that was so much connect was there. Vivid imagery was too good. I could easily locate that where Digant is sitting, where Nikhil is sitting, that 2013, then 2022. Situation was crystal clear to me. Great vivid imagery. Organization part. Organization, firstly, speaker established the premise very well. He told that's a rail coach, rail bogie, where you can relate second class, first class. Then he transformed that from that stressful part, then delightful part. Job well done. In the end, he presented the remedy as well. Next thing, what I love is the good use of stage movement, as Gurpreet highlighted. First point, he purposefully mentioned from here, moving on to other part, that means speaker was well prepared. He didn't use too many characters, just 2 characters, and one was the speaker himself. And most of the part, light was on him. Great job, because in case of too many characters, you need to create so many situations. 5 to 7 minutes, not an easy task. Now moving on to certain areas where speaker could improve, speaker could work. First, I believe that climax portion problem was well established initial 4 to 5 minutes. But I believe that climax, rather remedy portion, positive portion required a little more time. He could have devoted either 2 minutes or more than that. Next thing is that the speaker removed his quote 3 times. First from here to there, then I believe that was not that impactful, because the thing was he was doing with voice, different voice. Next thing is, when he said efficiency was 0 on that day, the sentence was not needed, because when we are talking about long term, 13, 22, when we are how we are moving as a person, then this sentence could have been worked well. What I believe that he could have mentioned that this is 2013 Nikhil, 2022 myself, I have become the same person. Just look at me, what same fellow who was cheerful, delightful. Look at me, I'm not that person. So when you highlight that thing well, this creates magic. All you know what, Toastmaster Digant, as that was clearly visible, he has delivered 14 parts, very much visible, body language, facial expression, everything, job well done. Then speech objectives, that there needs to be story was there, and was it impactful. So that's with this from my side, and I hand over stage back to our virtual general evaluator. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Ankit, for evaluating the speaker in such a wonderful way. I believe you were completely attentive, and we all were mesmerized. So with this, the evaluators having given their evaluations, before I give my feedback to them, I would request the Tech Master to launch polls for the best evaluator. And I request everybody to please cast the vote.
And the last
Yes. Please let me know when the voting has been done. Toastmaster Raghav, Toastmaster Gurpreet, and Toastmaster Ankit.
And everyone voted in the back.
So I believe everyone has voted. Should we continue?
Yes,
Okay. Now let me give a brief feedback to the evaluators, starting with Toastmaster Raghav. He has evaluated Toastmaster Bhavanand in a very good way, and he has, I believe he is a beginner and he has taken up this job first time or maybe second time. So he was hesitating a little bit and he was comparing the evaluation of the speaker with himself also. So doesn't matter, Toastmaster Raghav. I would say that you were evaluating in a very nice manner, but there are some things that you could improve upon. Is that, first of all, even though you are on virtual stage, you could have stood up. Standing up makes you more involved. Even though we are not in the physical room, believe that you are there. And that enhances your performance. And secondly, try to follow the CRC approach as mentioned in the script for the evaluators. That would really take your evaluation to next level. Coming to Toastmaster Gurpreet, I believe we all need to learn from him. And please give him a big round of applause. A man with great energy in the room. Whenever he comes, he knows that clapping, it energizes oneself as well as the whole team. So it is a very good aspect of an evaluator that you energize yourself as well as your team members. And as well as he has followed all the aspects of CRC approach, and I don't have any recommendations for him. And as far as PM Ankit is concerned, he is also a seasonal speaker, orator, and an evaluator, and he has done the evaluation in a great manner. So kudos to all the evaluators. And now, in this Toastmasters meeting, we all try to give constructive feedback to the speakers, but this cannot be done by the general evaluator or evaluators alone. There is a team of auxiliary role players who are going to come on the stage one by one and give their feedback. And let me start by calling upon the stage Timer Praveen. Timer Praveen, over to you for your report. Please.
Thank you, Toastmaster Lakshmi, for your time. First of all the speakers done great speeches and they have done great work. And there is a limited time frame. And the first speaker, TM Bhavan, he used time 6 minutes, 51 minutes. So he has qualified for the timer round. And the speaker to TM Recivic, he took 7 minutes 15 seconds, 7 minutes 15 seconds, and he is also qualified. And speaker third TM Jigan, he took 15 seconds, 15 minutes more. He took almost 7 minutes 45 seconds. So 15 seconds he has. And now the table topic time. Guest Nishant took 1 minute 40 seconds to complete her topic, and he is also qualified. Guest Raj, he is 1 minute 26 seconds. He is also qualified for the guest. She took 2 minutes 3 seconds, and TM Unika took 1 minute 9 seconds, and TM Saurabh took 1 minute 42 seconds. Guest Deepak 1 minute 40 seconds. So all the table topic speakers qualified for the table topic round. And the last one is general evaluator. So TM Gurpreet, he has also qualified. He took 2 minutes 34 seconds, and TM Ankit Sinha took 2 minutes 58 seconds. Just crossed. And TM Raghav, he took 2 minutes 20 minutes for evaluation. So all of the evaluation evaluator also qualified for this round. So
thank you very much, Timer Praveen. And now, without further ado, let me invite on stage Toastmaster Fareed for his report as language evaluator. Over to you, Toastmaster Fareed.
Good evening, everyone, Toastmasters and dear guests.
So just I come back with my report of today's as I'm playing the role of language evaluator. But unfortunately, I'm really sad because the antipathy, the word of the day, has been used only 2 times and the idiom of the day only 1 time. So just think about it, why it is happening, why we are not using the word of the day and idiom of the day, because we are not concerned about the word of the day or just importance of the word of the day, because we are enhancing our vocabulary. So we have to use that. It really give the impact if we are enhancing our vocabulary to others also. So just request all of you and encouraging all of you this next meeting onwards we have to use. And otherwise, meeting overall wonderful grammatically, and all the sentences were used very appropriate in grammatically. There is no mistake in, and the word or most of the sentences the word also have been used very good, like demolish and impact and thread flowing and the epitome and this orator, remedy. So lots of words we have today's have been used by the speakers and evaluators and Toastmasters. So, and last but not least, just some of the grammatical mistakes like which I have observed, like this she took, not he took only. And so because it's a past sentence, so just past and present future we have to just remember all this. Thank you so much. Back to the general evaluation.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster. Now let me invite on stage Toastmaster Navya to brief out the report of our country.
Good evening, everyone. Since we are running a little late, please present my report. So today's meeting was very flawless. We had great speakers today from respect to Digant, and every single speaker today was amazing. But I would request a few members, that is Toastmaster Hriday, Toastmaster Dhanal, Toastmaster Praveen, and Toastmaster Farid, to they were someone who had they used a little some of the filler words. So I would request them to be a little conscious from next time. But otherwise, I would also like to mention and congratulate Toastmaster Praveen and Toastmaster Dhanal, because it was the first time that they played any role, and I think they did a great job. So with time, this usage of filler words would also improve. We just need to be a little more conscious while delivering our speeches. That's it. Back to general evaluation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Navya. And now let me invite on stage Toastmaster Dhanil for his report as parliamentarian. Please.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rashmi. Okay, I find all people are disciplined, very much disciplined today. And my second observation is everybody was keen and interested in everybody's speech. Everybody was keenly, nobody was talking or something. There are very less cases like that. And I would tell Mr. Ritwik, he was encouraging people as I mean, for speaking and those things. So personally, it's my personal remark. Now, there are some negative things. Okay. So some people were missing in between. Okay, for a long time. I don't want to mention, but some people were using phones frequently and more time. Okay, so there some people were throwing papers, those things. Okay, these are all minor things, not major. But overall, it was a very nice audience, and very delighted to see.
With an encouraging report from Toastmaster Dhanil, let us invite on stage Toastmaster Hriday and check how attentive you were. Please.
Are you guys ready?
I'll ask only 5 questions. Please.
Sure.
First question. And you will only get the goodie if you raise hand and this answer. If many people answer at the same time, the question will be answered. What is the great evolution according to TM Bhavanand? Great evolution. Evolution. Yes. Yes.
Please repeat the answer.
Mobile phone. How many days, TM Digant was told for bed rest? TM Bhavanand. 1 day. Yes. What is guest Deepak most passionate about? Yes, nature, same whatever. Sorry? Yes. Right. 3 questions are done. The big obstacle in front of TM Network was the big obstacle after the meeting in front of TM Network was
to communicate with the organizer, with the person who has NGO.
I will tell the answer. It was how to maintain networking. How to maintain networking. If you are in a boogie of perfumes according to TM Digan, in which class are you? TM Ritik, but you have already received one, am I right? Yes. First class, correct. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, TM Hriday, as well as simply enjoying your guffaws here in my room and imagining what you are talking. Now, let me draw your attention that the tech master is requested to please launch the polls for the best auxiliary role player as well as best table topic speaker.
Can you hear the name, please?
For auxiliary role player, Toastmaster Praveen, Toastmaster Fareed, Toastmaster Navya, Toastmaster Hriday, and Toastmaster Dhanil.
Table topic speakers were guest Ishan, Toastmaster Gurjita, Toastmaster Raj, Toastmaster Omega, guest Rana, and guest Deepak.
Please launch the poll for table topic speakers on online as well.
Can you repeat auxiliary role play for this session?
Yes. TM Praveen, TM Dhanil,
Can raise their hand while they speaking?
Praveen, Dhanil.
I am Fareed. I am Praveen. Then one by one for this. Fareed. Then
Yes, Ishan, Toastmaster Christopher, Toastmaster Raj, Toastmaster Bhumika, Sanat, and Delhi. Ishan, Christopher, Raj, Bhumika, she was online, Ronak, and
We can now start with the evaluation.
Okay, thank you very much. And now, dear friends, here is the time for providing feedback to auxiliary role players. So I'll just tell you that most of the auxiliary role players, except Toastmaster Navya, were either debutant or they are comparatively newer Toastmasters. So first of all, kudos to all of them for taking up the challenge, and give them a big round of applause. All of you. Their hesitance was clear, their nervousness was visible at some places, but despite that, they took up the roles, they did their roles nicely. But as far as recommendation is concerned, I would like to just recommend one thing, that howsoever new you are, you have to keep one thing in mind. The scripts are available on the CDTM site, and moreover, EC team is there for help. Please do not come to the stage without practice and without going through entire script of your role. One thing, that is a humble request. And second thing, what I felt is the need of the hour is that the person whosoever comes to the stage should not devote more time on the introduction of the theme. Rather, the time should be devoted more to the introduction of his or her role. Role as a language evaluator, role as a timer, role as a parliamentarian, etc. That, for example, in case of Toastmaster Fareed, he devoted most of the time in describing the role as a leader, and he did not describe his role as language evaluator in detail. Similarly, in case of Toastmaster Praveen, he did not show the cards, which were supposed to be shown to all the members in time to be told properly. And besides that, one suggestion for Toastmaster Fareed as language evaluator, or whosoever takes up language evaluator's role, is use a positive word of the day. Your word of the day probably was not used because it was a pessimistic word. In Toastmaster here, we generally believe bring in positive vibes through positive word of the day and positive idioms of the day. That would be better, right? So rest, everything was quite good. And with this, now let us come to the last section of the general evaluation very quickly. Again and again, I have been reminded that time is running, time is running. So the very first thing is, our meeting had started on time and we had been running through, but why does this happen? This has to be looked into. We all together should look into the fact that why does the time run every time? But perhaps what I compare with my entering the Toastmasters and now, the difference is some of the professionalism is lacking. We were strictly told about the time to be followed, and each and every speaker needs to keep in mind this time allotted to him or her for his or her role. That is the key point that can make our meeting not to run out of the time. So that is the way how everyone can do justice to his or her role. So besides that, I would very quickly come to Toastmaster of the day, Pooja Kutecha, Toastmaster Pooja Kutecha. Kudos to her for bringing in such an introspective theme, as I have already said, and she was wonderful as the Toastmaster of the day. She kept on interacting with the members. Only one or two things could be suggested to her, that while inviting the speakers on the stage for the speech, One, she did not have the name of the speeches in advance with her. So it could be done both from both the sides, the cooperation could be done. The speakers also need to realize their responsibility to pass on the title in advance to the Toastmaster, as well as the Toastmaster needs to collect it from them. And secondly, there is a format when you invite the speaker on the stage. For example, Toastmaster Bhavanand, mobile phone, boon or bane, mobile phone, boon or bane, Toastmaster Bhavanand. So that format was not followed. So you can take your role to next level by following the format of your role. And otherwise, great job done, Pooja. All of you, please give her a big round of applause. Now coming to table topic master, Kanavuria, I would congratulate him from the way he began his Toastmaster journey in CDTM, uttering single word or stammering, and today standing here as a confident speaker. One, second, he did not use the Hindi sentences. Generally, he is used to use them. So it is really a big congratulation to him. And he had brought in relevant topics. Great job done. But he could grow as a speaker again for his role. He or anybody who comes as a table topic master once again is requested to introduce the role very nicely. The time limit, the encouragement should be given to the guests, inviting them on the stage before you begin with the topics. And with that, I would just sum up the meeting because the time is really less very quickly by saying that I just cannot whitewash the feedback by simply saying that everything was good. The meeting was really good, as it is always, but still needs improvement. And CDTM is one of the most coveted and sought after club. So I believe we need to maintain the standards by following the formats of our roles and following the time limits. So with this, thank you very much. And I hand over the stage back to
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Rajni, for detailed evaluation. We will definitely try and work on it, and will ensure that meeting also ends on time, and we try and maintain the timings as much as possible. So now with this, after knowing about Lord Krishna and Lord Ram, it's time to assess yourself and look at yourself and decide what type of leaders are you. With this, I'll let you all reflect on this and hand over the physical stage to the president of our club, Toastmaster Pradyum. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everyone. As the president of the Central Toastmasters Club, I wish to humbly apologize to everyone for the delay in the timings of the meeting. We promise you that this thing would be fixed on from the next meeting onwards. Moving on, so coming to the Member of the Month Awards. Today, we are going to raise another month for the month of October. We have around 6 categories. The first category being the Screamer of the Month. This award is given to the member who has participated the most in the PR activities of the club. This award is being given to Toastmaster Raghav. The next award is the Comrade of the Month. The Comrade of the Month is given to the member for the most regular attendance to the meeting. This award is being given to Toastmaster Siddharth. The third award is Nurture of the Month. The Nurture of the Month is given to the member for their role taking in the meetings and their performance in the roles that they take. This award is being given to Toastmaster Ritik. The next award is the budding nurturer. It is the same as the nurturer's award, but this award is given to a new member as compared to an experienced and an old member. This award is being given to Toastmaster Farid. The second last award is out of the box nurturer of the month. This award is given to the member who has shown the most innovative and the most unique way of playing the role that they took in the meeting. This award is being given to Toastmaster Gurpreet. Last but not the least, the member of the month award is given to the member who has accumulated the highest point among all of these award categories. This award is being given to Toastmaster Hriday. Finally, coming to the final award of the day, who do you think was the best speaker of the day? Was it Toastmaster Bhavanan, was it Toastmaster Ritik, or was it Toastmaster Digant? It was Toastmaster Ritik. Who do you think was the best evaluator for the day? Was it Toastmaster Raghav, was it Toastmaster Gurpreet, or was it Toastmaster Ankit? It was Toastmaster Gurpreet. Who do you think was the best table topic speaker? I do not remember the name, so please spare me. It was guest Ronak. Before announcing the best auxiliary role player, I would now like to launch the poll. The best role player, was it Toastmaster or Toastmaster Pooja? Was it our general evaluator Toastmaster Rashmi on the virtual stage, or was it our table topic master Toastmaster Kana? Yes, you have to vote. I request the tech master to launch the poll. Best role player. Was it a Toastmaster or a Toastmaster Pooja? Please raise your hand. Yes. Was it our general evaluator Toastmaster Rashmi on the virtual stage, or was it our table topic master who, well, isn't here anymore? Well, the votes are being collected. Who do you think was the best of the role player? Our timer, Toastmaster Kavir, our parliamentarian, Toastmaster Dhanil, our language evaluator, Toastmaster Farid, our listener, Toastmaster Hriday, or our counter, Toastmaster Navya? Listener. It was the language evaluator of the day, Toastmaster Farid. This is my first time I got 2 awards. Do we have the results for the best role player of the day? Who do you think it was? Was it Toastmaster today, Toastmaster Pooja? Was it a general evaluator, Toastmaster Rashmi, or was it our table topic master? So I can hear three votes for Toastmaster Pooja. How many votes for Toastmaster Rashmi?
I just also want to say something. Consider me sitting in the physical room, okay, and then vote. Don't. Sometimes what I feel is so many members do not connect with me because I'm sitting on virtual stage.
Maybe fixing your connectivity on the network side might help you connect with the network, with the members. All right, we have the result for the best role play of the day. It was a Toastmaster with Toastmaster Pooja.
Thank you.
With that being said, without any further ado, I hereby end the meeting. I request everyone to come on the stage for group picture.
इसको बंद कर दें या